Good morning, Special Sea Treasures. Today is Thursday, May 14th, 2020. The weather is cool and sunny. We have PE and we are leaders. And today is Manatee Mania. I've been waiting for this for a long time. Looking forward to sharing with you some of my manatee things. But before we do that, I want you to know that we've had 32 days of school. Count them: 10, 20, 30, 31, 32. And here's our calendar. Today is the 14th of May. Let's go ahead and get started with our manatee stuff. Here's young Yolanda holding a manatee for Manatee Mania. Yes, Mrs. Murphy loves manatees. When I first saw my first manatee, that was in Florida. And I saw a bunch of manatees just about like this. And I was from Indiana. And I loved seeing them. And after that, I decided that my class would adopt a manatee. Here's some candy bars that I ate that were helping to save the manatees and protect them. Here's a picture of my mother-in-law going to Homosassa Springs. And this was my first manatee that I ever adopted. Look how old that looks. This was from back in 1993, I believe. That's Floyd, the West Indian manatee. I chose the name Floyd after my husband's Uncle Floyd. One of the options was a Floyd, so we chose him, and this is what Floyd looks like. Floyd is at Blue Spring State Park, and you can go there and you can see him. He has a crescent moon scar on him, which makes him very, very recognizable. Here's Mrs. Murphy. Mrs. Manatee Murphy. And that's over at Anna Maria Island, the entranceway there. Here's a t-shirt that I have. Let me show you this. This is really cool. Here's a postcard I got in the mail. Let me flip it over. And it was from Jessica Ackerman. And the date on that is in 1998. Dear Mrs. Murphy, so far we saw 3 manatee license plates, and it goes on to talk about their time in Florida. Here are 2 of my students that were in South Florida, and they saw a manatee mailbox, and they sent this to me, and they said, Mrs. Murphy, we were thinking of you and thought you might enjoy seeing a picture of us with a manatee mailbox. Did you know that a manatee is called the gentle giant? They have flat tails and they move in the water. They have no natural enemies. The only enemy that a manatee has is man, and a lot of times it's because of boats that come driving through and it hits them and leaves marks on their bodies and it hurts them and cuts them up. A manatee is big and heavy. A manatee weighs about 1,000 pounds, and that's about as much as 20 kindergartners put together. So there we are. We know how heavy a manatee can be. That's pretty heavy. Here's some pictures of some manatees. Here's one of the manatees that's getting a bottle. Here's a picture of Mrs. Murphy in the Dominican Republic working with the people at the aquarium where I got to feed this baby manatee a bottle with the senior class from Kiskeo Christian School. That was really a cool experience for me, and I was really thankful for the zookeepers and the biologists and the marine biologists that let me be a part of that. Here we go. Look here. Florida. Florida manatees. Manatees, here they are. See that? This is from our weekly reader. Did you know that a baby manatee is called a calf? And do you know another name for a manatee is a sea cow? And you know a cow has a calf, and a baby manatee is called a calf. And the cousin to the manatee, do you remember who the cousin is to the manatee? Right, if you said an elephant, you were right. Here we go. Manatees eat seagrass and plants. Look here. This manatee was drawn by Rebecca Stargel back in Haiti, one of my classes. I found this one made by her. She's already graduated from college. Here's one made by Natalia. Look, isn't that fun? Maybe you can make a manatee and send it to me on the Remind. I'd love to see your manatee. Here's one here. It's sad because when the manatees get hit by a boat, it cuts up their tails or puts marks on their backs. This book here was given to me by Mrs. Brown. It's a great book. She gave it to me and said, have a fantastic 2020 school year. And I thought you might enjoy seeing a manatee eating. And look at that. That's how they come up in the water when you see them. Isn't that cool? Manatees. Let me go on to this next part. Here's my manatee that I bought. My very first manatee was named Floyd. And then this is baby Yolanda the manatee. And I have all kinds of manatees. Manatees are mammals. They drink milk and they have hair. And look here, they also have fingernails. You can see that on manatees in the pictures of manatees. Okay? Look here, I was going to show you this. Here's a manatee. Here's one with a tail. Scientists use the scars to be able to track the manatees so they can tell them apart from others. And this is one of the ways that they can identify a manatee. This came from this book. This is a great book on manatees. Here's a picture of me. This is at the Lowry Park Zoo. And here's the manatee named Tamari from the Dominican Republic. When I went to take his picture, and you can see his fingernails there, he came all the way out of the water. And I was able to give him a kiss on his snout there. That was really cool. That really made my day. Here's a bunch of the manatees that I would have had in the classroom. I have lots of manatees. Here's my manatee puppet. Here's a wooden manatee. Here's one from the Lowry Park Zoo. This one is a wooden one. And here, we had the Name the Manatee contest, and this is Swirly. Thank you, Blake, and thank you, Michaela, for coming up with a name for our manatee. Swirly. Did you know that the manatee at one time was on a stamp for endangered species? And there it is. That's back when a stamp was only 32 cents. Here's some other things that I have for manatees. Here's a manatee there. Look at this. This is very lightweight, made out of a really lightweight wood. Here's a Christmas ornament. Here's the class that was really happy about that manatee stamp that came out of the Weekly Reader. Here's lots of manatee books. Here's the Save the Manatee Club where you can adopt a manatee. That's where I adopted Floyd with my class. There's lots and lots of things. I have lots of friends that have made manatee cards. Look at these books. Great resources. SeaWorld's another place. Homosassa Springs, that's where I got to swim with a manatee. You can do that there. You have to follow all the rules. You're not allowed to touch a manatee. And I wanted to tell you that one time when I was with my grandchildren, a manatee swam up to us and we just stood there. And that was the coolest thing. This is one of my favorite pictures right here. I always wanted to be able to feed a manatee a bottle. Isn't that cool? There's Tamari in the Dominican Republic. Friends take pictures with manatees and give those to me. So that's good. Look at this thing. This is a humongous manatee. Yeah, he weighed over 2,800 pounds. Wow, that is a big old manatee. So in closing, I just want to say that we have to do our part to help save the manatees from being in danger. Man is his biggest enemy. So if you see a manatee, take time just to look with your eyes and enjoy them. And I'm going to close now. Thank you for a great time and a lesson on manatees.